Hey guys, I'm just going to show you how to do the HISS programming for your spare key for a 2005 or 2006 CBR600RR. The reason I'm doing this is, although the programming process for the HISS keys for the Honda are the same, for the most part, from I think like the late 90s models to like up to the mid 2000s, there are a few differences as to the connector clip that we'll be dealing with, which is the crankshaft position sensor clip or the ignition pulse generator clip. The position of it varies from bike to bike, and I had a bit of trouble finding mine initially as I was following the instructions for a 2003 600RR, where you have to remove the tank cover and the fuel tank, prop it up, and you find the connector clip somewhere near the engine bay, and that's what I did, and I couldn't find it. But then in the end I discovered all you have to do is just remove this main fairing over here, the right hand side front main fairing, and remove the toolbox, which is attached here. It's just attached by a single bolt. I think it's a 12mm or a 10mm, whatever it is. Just remove that, remove the toolbox, get it out of the way, and then you come to this waterproof plastic cover. Just push that aside and you'll find a red 2-pin connector, mini connector of some sort, and that's your crankshaft position sensor, or the ignition pulse generator as is referred to in the manual. It is a red one for this model. I have no idea what it is for 07 onwards, but for most bikes, I think even like the VFR 800 and CBR600 F series, it's a red connector. So basically, and to confirm, it's this wire running out just on the clutch side of the bike. It's yellow and white, 2 wires. You might be able to see it, maybe not, and that goes up here to the red connector. So yellow is the positive that we'll be dealing with, and the yellow white, it's actually a yellow white, that's the negative or terminal, and that connects up here, and that goes to a 12-pin connector, and out of it comes the yellow line and a green-orange line. So what we'll be doing is we'll be applying the 12-volt battery voltage to this. So the positive battery voltage will be attaching to the yellow line, as you can see there, and that's on the right hand side here, and the green-orange, which the negative terminal of the battery will be connected to, is on the left hand side over here. To keep things simple, just basically the solid yellow running out from here goes to the yellow here, and the yellow white stripe goes to the green orange. And to do this, you can either buy a special tool from Honda, which is fairly expensive I've heard, or you can make your own. So basically what I've done is I've just got some alligator clips connected up, and I've attached an inline fuse. It's worth it, I think, because it's just a few dollars. I've put in a 150 milliamp fuse in there. What I calculated the current to be is 0.12 amps, or 120 milliamps. Basically the instructions call for a 100 ohm 1 watt resistor, carbon resistor. You can see there, that's the 100 ohm 1 watt resistor, and if we divide the battery voltage by the resistance, which is 12 volts, divided by 100, you get 120 milliamps. So I'm thinking if anything goes wrong with the connections, if there's a short, I want a fuse there to, a quick acting fuse to stop any damage to the ECU. So I put a 150 milliamp fuse. I don't know if that's going to work. If it blows, I might change it to a 200 milliamp or something like that. So basically this, I've color coded it just so that there's no confusion. So basically this red line here, that will be connected to the positive terminal. That's in line with the fuse holder, and that goes to the yellow wire, which is connected to the 100 ohm resistor, and that's our positive terminal. It's keeping things simple. And the negative terminal of the battery, the black wire, is connected to the white, because as you remember it was a yellow white stripe. And that will be connected to the green-orange line. So basically, to actually do this connection here, it's a bit annoying because you need a female spade connector. It's a 2-pin mini connector, but it's kind of hard to find an exact fit for this. So basically what I did was I got, let me show you the stuff I bought. It's actually pretty cheap. It's basically a pack of these. They're just small mini female spade connectors. So basically I just got a connection like this, a round connection, a pin, stuffed it in there and taped it up to hold it in place. You want to make sure it's insulated really well because you don't want these two leads touching each other as you make the connection in there and short-circuiting. So basically, something looks a bit wrong in there. Anyways, so yeah, I just insulated as much as I could. So let's do the connections and see how we go. Alright, so I've made the connection there. Positive yellow going to the yellow side, and the negative, the white terminal, going to the green-orange. I haven't connected the battery yet, so that's the second step. So you have your original key, or your only key that you have, your main key. Just put it in, leave it there for the time being, and now let's make the connections. So start with the negative terminal first. So let's connect that carefully. That's done. Let's get this rubber cap out of the way. That's your positive battery connection. And let's connect that. So now that's connected. So we apply 12 volts and hopefully I don't have a short in there and mess up my ECU or whatever. Alright, so the next step in the procedure, this procedure should be the same for all the HISS equipped bikes. So I'm just looking up on my phone, apply 12 volt battery voltage, which we've done, and we turn the ignition switch on with the original key. So let's do that, see what happens. So the fuel pump doesn't prime as is expected, and the HISS light, which is normally flashing, is now a solid red, which it should be. Right, so now the next step from that is to disconnect the red clip of the inspection adapter of the battery terminal for around 2 seconds. Alright, let's disconnect this. 3, 4. That's exactly what we want. So basically, once we've disconnected the red terminal and reconnected after 5 seconds or more, the HISS light should flash for 4 seconds. So 1, 2, 3, 4, then it goes off, and this keeps repeating. So that means the step is correct. So now what we need to do, I believe, is remove the ignition. So the main ignition key, we turn it off and we remove it. So let's turn that off, take that out, keep it far away. Now we take our spare key, which we've already cut, hopefully, and we try the same procedure. So you want to keep the main key far away as possible to avoid confusing the system. So we put in our spare key now, we'll turn it on. See what it does. 1, 2, 3, 4, and it repeats 1, 2, 3, 4. So that means our spare key is now registered. Let's turn it off, take that out, and now we should be done. If you've got more spare keys, the procedure is the same. You just take out your old one, put the new one in, and continue. Just one thing to be careful of is once you've done the first step with your main key and you've turned it off, just don't put it back in again. Bad things can happen. So I guess the next step here is to just disconnect this or reconnect the crankshaft position sensor and try and start up the bike and see if it works. So I'm going to do just that. Alright guys, I've reconnected the ignition pulse generator connector clip or the crankshaft position sensor, as you can see here. So now at the moment of truth, we'll take my main key, which I've been using all this time. Hopefully everything's in place. I don't want to start something without... Alright, let's see if this works now. So the fuel pump primes, it's in neutral. Let's try starting the bike. Excellent, there we go. Now for the spare key. Here we go. Let's try that. Fuel pump primes, it's neutral. There we go. As you can see, the procedure works fine, and that's it.